I gave my favorite movies of 2016 a list. It felt right to give my thoughts on what I want to see from 2017. But the first few movies I saw in January, luckily they were all coming in from 2016. So technically 2017, there's still a lot for me to, be anticipated. There's a little list I have, I'm not going to put them in all in order. Just go by a little bit and say what I really want to see. One of the first movies that comes out in my mind is Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. Christopher Nolan, an incredible director, brought us amazing movies, of course, like Memento, Inception, and The Dark Knight. And I want to see what he has. Just his name alone, I'm sold with, what he's going to give us. I'm intrigued, okay? You never know. And we can get something that has, like, Interstellar, Inception. It's just this guy has so many things, okay? Whether they're good or great, he has a lot of things cooking in his mind. I want to see how his take of a war film is. Looks like this movie looks like it's going to be very gritty. And, this looks like something he's branching out of what he usually does. But that's great. I want to see what he can do to build upon his legacy. Another movie I'm very excited for is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Guardians of the Galaxy number 1 was an incredible movie. One of the Marvel Studios' best movies. One of my favorite movies of that year. I really want to see what the next chapter with these band of misfits has in store for us. The trailers are incredible. It looks like it's a bigger scale. It's still fun. James Gunn said this story is going to be even more personal, so I want to see that. I want to see how Star-Lord continues on the relationship with these people, his friends, Drax, Gamora, Rocket, Baby Groot. I want to have another good time with, these guys. Hopefully, they kick it out the ballpark. And, of course I want the movie to have heart, but I want it to just be fun, but be that, intellectual type of fun from the Guardians gang. Another one that I have in mind is Logan. Wolverine, one of my favorite characters since 2000 with the first X-Men movie. I want to see, how he's progressed 16, 17 years later. This looks like, it's going to be a very different type of, not just only X-Men movie, but Wolverine and, its trilogy of Wolverine movies. It looks like it's going to be more character-based, less spectacle. I want to see his relationship with, Professor Xavier. I'm glad they're both going out together, riding off to the sunset. And, I just want to see how he, gives up his mantle, how he retires. My next movie is Spider-Man Homecoming. This is the first Spider-Man we're getting, which is in the Marvel Studios era. I want to see how they deal with him. They introduced him well in Civil War. They made him feel like he was someone from the anime series that I love seeing, the comics people grew up with. This looks like a Spider-Man that's spot on. I want to see how his story takes place now in high school, knowing that, we're going to have a couple movies with him in high school. How's, the villain's going to be for him. He's got some very iconic villains. Michael Keaton looks like, he can do a great job with this type of role. Tom Holland, just the trailer alone looks like, I'm buying it, the way he's portraying Peter Parker, acting like Spider-Man. These are things look like, a kid at his age would act, I want to see how he's going to balance, being an average kid, but knowing that, he's also Spider-Man, how he has to maintain both, make sure, they don't conflict. Another movie I want to see is War of the Planet of the Apes. The first two Apes movies, they're very incredible, especially Andy Serkis as Caesar. Each movie, feels like its own film, but then they all connect well. It felt like it built up to this war now. I want to see how the war turns out. Apparently this might connect back to Planet of the Apes, so I want to see how they can tie all that together. I want to see Andy Serkis just give another great performance. As Caesar. Woody Harrelson looks like, a promising villain, or like the main guy, we have to see in this film. I feel like it's going to be a little bit different from the previous, people that have connected with Caesar. I feel like it's going to be more, it's going to be more of a war interaction. So, I want to see how his character takes. And it just looks good. It looks very, menacing. It looks very tough. Just this whole film itself. It looks like we're going to get in to some crazy apes on tanks kicking ass war film. Another movie I'm very excited for is Wonder Woman. I want to see how Wonder Woman, takes place now in the cinematic universe. Hopefully this is the movie that, puts even the DC Extended Universe into greater heights. Wonder Woman really kicked ass in Batman v Superman. I want to see how she's done. This is their first movie since the 1970s, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. So I'm glad they're taking a take like this. Hope it does succeed also, so we can get more also female-led superhero movies alongside males, because I want to see expanded. Come on, let's open the range of what we can do with films, and I want to see this film pioneer for, you know, other generations, for more people, for more ideas to come, for, you know, superhero movies. You know, I'm interested to see, you know, how they tie her back into the Justice League. Another movie I'm very excited for is Blade Runner 2049. Blade Runner, you know, the first one was very thought-provoking. It was a very ahead of its time movie. You know, just the atmosphere was great. This is a movie that you need to know how to watch this movie. You can't just watch this for fun or anything. It's something you really need to digest more. And, you know, the trailer for 2049 looked really good as, you know, how we're going back into this world. I want to see what Denis Villeneuve and Roger Deakins do with this type of work. Ryan Gosling looks like, you know, he's gonna kick it, you know, out of the park. Be this new or Harrison Ford character. Harrison Ford coming back. It's great seeing how, you know, the original and the new star are gonna meet. I want to see how they collide, how they work, and, you know, I want to know more of the story. You know, they didn't give away too much. I want to see, you know, what these guys have to do for, you know, this newer take now of the world for Blade Runners. Another movie I'm really excited to see, Justice League. Justice League, you know, we have had the Avengers, now we're going to get Justice League. I want to see, you know, how all these characters are going to come up, you know, and how they're going to work, and how Superman going to play into the role. You know, Batman and Wonder Woman, seeing how they're bringing all the characters. I want to see who brings who, you know, with Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg. You know, I want to see what kind of, you know, story it's going to take, because these are a lot of characters, and they're very, you know, they're gigantic stars, and I want to see how they all share the screen. And, you know, this is a really important movie also for the DC Extended Universe. So hopefully, you know, this knocks out of the park, you know, and, you know, everything they worked hard for has finally paid off for that movie as well. With Zack Snyder directing his third DC film, you know, hopefully this is probably his best one. So, you know, I'm intrigued to see how this all turns out. You guys are probably going to know already this one too. You know, this is one of the most anticipated movies I've seen since, you know, the predecessor from 2015. I want to see how the next chapter is going to, you know, conclude for the stories from the first chapter. And yes, I know the title now since I recorded this after. So it is Star Wars The Last Jedi. I want to see, you know, what happens after, you know, Rey wants to give the lightsaber to Luke. And, you know, is Luke going to train Rey? Or, you know, are they going to have, you know, an altercation with Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren? You know, what is going to be happening with, you know, the character Han Solo now, seen as, you know, he bit the dust in the last one. I want to see how they, you know, write General Leia's character. I want to see what the new characters are up to. Also, you know, Finn and Poe Dameron as well. I want to see how this chapter, you know, is going to have an impact for, you know, the Star Wars universe. Usually, you know, Empire Strikes Back, the middle chapters always have something impactful. I want to see what it has for the new characters, even for the old characters. Rian Johnson just has the potential, you know. It looks like he's going to give us a very grounded, but still, you know, the fun feeling we know of Star Wars. And it just looks like, you know, hopefully it takes the stakes and raises it up even more from The Force Awakens with this, you know, The Last Jedi. So guys, those are some of my thoughts of what movies I want to see this year. You know, obviously there's way more, but I just wanted to name a couple. You know, let me know, guys, what are the movies you want to see this year in the comments below. And as always, Rolling Empire, laugh, smile, repeat.